You know, I like to use a lot of visuals in my presentations. Pictures worth 1,000 words, they say. And I was trying to find a picture of the grave of Samuel Hahnemann, the father of homeopathy. And what do you do these days? You go on the internet, you Google, you try to find a picture. Well, curiously, one of the first pictures that came up was a picture of a coffee mug with Samuel Hahnemann's picture on it. That was curious. Why was it curious? Because Hahnemann had written a treatise on coffee in which he deplored the stuff. He said it was the greatest evil, it was the cause of all diseases. Now, this was after he had founded homeopathy. That was in 1796. And 200 years later, Germany produced a stamp to commemorate that event, simula simulus curantur, which means like cures like. The original concept of homeopathy was that a substance that in a healthy person causes symptoms when given in a high dose will cure those symptoms in a sick person if that dose is diluted. And it was diluted infinitely to the extent that there was essentially nothing left in the final product. But at the time, of course, they didn't know anything about molecules. It didn't occur to them that there was nothing left. Well, today, of course, homeopathy is not looked on as mainstream by any means. It's an alternative form of therapy because non-existent molecules do not cure existing diseases. And some of the homeopathic remedies, things like this, homeopathic X-ray, this is virtually laughable. So you would think that because non-existent molecules cannot cure existing diseases, I would have no respect for Samuel Hahnemann at all. That's not true, because back in those days, they didn't know better. He offered people a kinder, gentler therapy than bloodletting and purging. However, there's another reason that I have some respect for Samuel Hahnemann. Believe it or not, he wrote an essay that started with this fascinating little phrase, where he exalts chemistry. Yes, Samuel Hahnemann was a chemist at heart. Well, more than just at heart, he actually practiced chemistry. We know this because there have been a number of articles documenting this. What did he do? He actually developed the original test to test for lead in wine. Back in those days, lead was sometimes added to wine because it imparts a sweet taste and also acts as a preservative. And sometimes wine would also be contaminated with iron from the iron nails in the casks. And the question was, how can you find lead without the test being contaminated with iron? Because the simple test that they used in those days produced a positive result, whether it was for lead or for iron. But Hahnemann developed a specific test using hydrogen sulfide gas. It would precipitate a black solid if there was lead in the sample, but not if there was iron. This was a pretty big breakthrough. So he was really a chemist at heart. Obviously, I like that. He had a rather interesting life. He was married for a very long time to his first wife, and when she died, he soon married a lady who was 40 years his junior. 40 years. So he gets some credit for that. And she became the first female homeopath. She followed in his footsteps. And this is the reason I was interested in this, because Hahnemann was very much in love with this lady. And he wanted to be buried together with her. This is what he left in his will. And that actually happened. They were buried together in Père Lachaise Cemetery in Paris, the famous cemetery. And in the year 1900, as a result of a homeopathic congress, his followers erected a granite statue on the grave. This is what I was interested in because I wanted to see if Melanie, his second wife, would be mentioned on the gravestone because they were in fact buried together. So I did eventually find the picture, and it turns out that no, she's not mentioned on it at all. And neither is there any mention of the fact that beside his adherence to homeopathy, Samuel Hahnemann made huge contributions to chemistry. Anyway, I did find the picture, and of course, as far as the mug goes, needless to say, I ordered it. Unfortunately, it didn't come in time for this video, so I've had to fake it. This is a fake Hahnemann mug. Sometimes you just have to fake it.